Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is the show engineered to give you that perfect shortcut to being, well, truly informed.
And you definitely gave us a mountain of material this time.
We did. We've got the huge stack of year-end reviews, all the industry reports on AI in 2025, and our mission today is to just tear through that fire hose for you.
It was a defining year. I mean, if you need to walk into your next conversation fully prepped on what actually mattered, this is it.
Right. It was a year of explosive financial bets, these agentic breakthroughs, and terminology that felt like it was changing by the week.
Exactly. So we're not just listing headlines. We're extracting the key concepts, the big data points, and really the why behind all the noise.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've synthesized everything, and our roadmap is pretty straightforward. First, we're hitting the pivotal moments, the big money, and the creative shifts that set the tone for the year.
Then we'll decode the essential new vocabulary, the terms that, started dominating every single strategy conversation.
After that, a really critical section on performance benchmarks and some surprising revisions to future predictions.
And finally, we'll wrap up with the trending productivity tools you can actually use right now.
So let's jump right in. 2025 wasn't just, steady growth.
Yeah.
The sources all frame it as a year of paradigm shifts.
Absolutely. Fueled by just unprecedented capital, we saw these massive trillion-dollar infrastructure bets.
And market-shaking efficiency breakthroughs. I mean, the financial shockwaves hit almost immediately in January.
We're talking about the DeepSeek moment.
The DeepSeek moment. China's R1 model comes out, and it just instantly rocks the global financial world.
The number is just staggering. A $600 billion single-day valuation loss for Nvidia.
In one day. And that shows you just how sensitive the market has become to architectural efficiency.
Right. To really get that reaction, you have to look past the price tag. The R1 release wasn't just another model. It signaled that a major player had solved a huge cost efficiency problem.
It proved that growth wasn't just tied to the existing, very high-cost chip stack.
Exactly. It forced everyone to reevaluate that hardware moat that people thought was unbreachable.
So if R1 was the shot across the bow, then January also brought the, let's call it the commitment for total domination.
The Stargate project.
This massive infrastructure, played by OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle. It started at $500 billion.
And our latest sources show total commitments are now getting close to $1.4 trillion.
$1.4 trillion.
Yeah.
That's the GDP of a medium-sized country.
It is. And it tells you everything about where the major players believe the real long-term value is. It's in securing the sheer scale of compute needed for AGI, whatever the cost.
But I have to ask you, does that level of investment worry you at all? It feels like we're building this massive speculative bubble based on, well, faith in a capability that isn't fully here yet.
It raises huge strategic questions, for sure. It signals that these companies see the race as completely winner-take-all. The risk is astronomical.
But the payoff?
The potential payoff of owning the foundational compute for the entire next era of technology justifies, in their view, risking everything on infrastructure. It's a game of capacity now, not just code.
And from that infrastructure groundwork, things moved fast. We moved into what the sources are calling the operational age of agents.
Right. In February, Anthropic drops its agentic coding tool, Claude Code.
And that was just foundational. It set the stage for the wider CLI agent movement.
And the CLI, the command line interface, that's traditionally the home of expert programmers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Claude Code changed the whole game. It created an expectation that AI shouldn't just write a little snippet of code for you. It should manage complex, multi-step tasks, like deploying a whole microservice from the command line, autonomously.
And that shift toward autonomous capability, it just immediately cranked up the heat on the competition for human talent.
It really did. The talent war hit a fever pitch by summer. I'm thinking of Meta's recruiting spree.
Oh yeah, Zuckerberg's team was just aggressively poaching elite researchers from DeepMind, from OpenAI.
With massive pay packages, as the reports put it.
It seems like that race for the brightest minds is now the key indicator for a frontier lab's health. You can have a $1 trillion compute stack, but if you don't have the talent, it's useless.
For sure. And then, beyond the engineering wars, the creative world got a complete overhaul. Image generation. It just went turbo.
It really did. In August, with Google's Nano Banana, OpenAI had already kicked off this aesthetic thing earlier in the year.
The Ghibli trend.
The Ghibli trend, that's what they called it, a very soft, nostalgic look from GPT Image 1. But Nano Banana was different.
It was. It took realism and control to a whole new level. It was a new era for image editing and, critically, for consistency.
The AI could finally maintain visual logic across multiple edits in a complex scene. That was a huge step.
And if images weren't enough, video just shattered the reality threshold in September.
The dual impact. OpenAI's Sora 2 and Google's VO 3.1 both going viral and immediately raising huge questions about the future of media.
They didn't just cross a realism threshold.
No, they crossed the "I can never trust another online video again" threshold. We are officially in the matrix now.
Yeah.
Anything you see could be generated.
What's so fascinating is how the language we use to talk about AI changed just as fast as the tech. We saw that in the MIT Technology Review's AI Wrapped list.
The 14 AI terms you couldn't avoid in 2025.
It just shows how the dialogue shifted from, academic theory to immediate strategic necessity.
It's like the entire industry had to invent a new vocabulary just to keep up.
Precisely. You had these huge technical terms like superintelligence dominating the conversation, which reflects the sheer speed of model improvement.
But then you also saw these practical, almost social terms emerge.
Right, like vibe coding. It's a term for how easy some of these tools have become. You just prompt in natural language and the AI, well, it gets your vibe and generates the code.
And then on the complete flip side of that, you have the growing concern over chatbot psychosis.
A term to discuss the strange, sometimes psychologically jarring outputs that can come from these deeply integrated AIs.
If we connect this to the bigger picture.
The terms reflect AI becoming totally pervasive. Understanding why we're suddenly talking about superintelligence in the same breath as vibe coding, it helps you, the strategist, make informed decisions. It's not about if AI is coming anymore. It's about navigating its complex, often contradictory reality.
Okay, let's pivot now to the critical numbers. For this part, we're going to slow it down a bit, take a more measured deep dive into the foundational data that's really defining the industry.
And we should start with predictions. They always need a reality check. The AI Futures Project updated its timeline, the one based on that influential AI 2027 paper.
And the big takeaway is a delay. The forecast for full, reliable AI coding automation has been pushed back.
By 3 to 4 years. The new forecast is for 2031 to 2032.
And this revision is so important. Why does it matter so much?
It matters because it reveals the physics of complexity at the frontier. Getting the first 90% of coding done by AI, that's getting almost trivial, but that last 10%.
The reliability, the security hardening.
The self-directed planning needed for full automation. That is proving to be far, far harder than anyone modeled. It's a very sober acknowledgement of the challenges that remain.
But that resistance in one area isn't stopping records from being shattered elsewhere. We saw a huge leap from OpenAI's GPT 5.2 Pro.
On a very specific metric, Epoch AI's Frontier Math Tier 4 benchmark.
And that's not just doing sums. It's a proxy for abstract reasoning, right?
Exactly. The kind of complex multi-step logic you need for those reliable agents we were just talking about. And GPT 5.2 Pro scored a massive 29% on that test.
And that 29% is so critical because it put it 10% ahead of the previous record holder, Gemini 3 Pro.
That kind of leap in a single year shows rapid, non-linear progress. The models aren't just getting bigger, they are fundamentally getting smarter at their core.
And while the big American labs get most of the headlines, we can't ignore the international innovation.
Not at all. The South Korean giant Naver open-sourced their Hyper-CLVA XSeed Think model.
A key reasoning model. And it's noted for strong agentic performance, for topping the national benchmarks there.
It proves the global race isn't just about who can throw the most compute at a problem. It's also about superior reasoning architecture.
We also saw a key update from Alibaba's Qwen team. They released Qwen Image 2512.
Right, and this update was celebrated for improvements in realism, but more importantly, for text rendering.
Finally solving one of the most annoying headaches in image AI, making sure the text inside the image is actually legible. Not that garbled alien script we used to see.
It's a small detail, but it's transformative for anyone in marketing or design.
Okay, let's circle back to the cost of talent because this data is just jaw-dropping.
It connects right back to that meta talent war we discussed.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The Wall Street Journal reported that in 2025, OpenAI's stock compensation hit an average of $1.5 million per employee.
Per employee. That figure is the highest average compensation ever reported for a major tech startup in history.
It's unbelievable.
That number tells you everything about the risk, the reward, and the perceived existential importance of winning this race. They're paying venture capital prices for human brain power.
It just underscores the intensity of the competition. It's global, it's fierce, And the stakes are being measured in trillions now.
Absolutely. So let's wrap this up with something practical. The trending tools you can actually leverage right now.
We've picked 4 that are dominating the conversation and really should be in your productivity stack.
First up, obviously, is GPT 5.2 Pro.
Yeah.
After that frontier math performance, it's the go-to frontier model for any high-level task.
So think complex financial modeling, scientific analysis, anything that requires maximum reasoning. It's the closest thing we have to a digital executive consultant.
Then there's Quinn Image 2512 from Alibaba. We just mentioned it. Because of its strength in realism and text rendering, it is the ideal tool for any visual content that needs clean lettering.
Like mock-ups for ads, logos, anything where the text just has to be perfect. It gets rid of that garbled text error.
For a huge productivity boost, there's Claude in Chrome. This is an agentic extension that brings Claude's power right into your browser.
So you can use it for on-the-fly research, summarizing complex web pages.
Or even browser automation. You can ask it to scan a competitor's site, summarize their Q4 earnings, and draft response, all without ever leaving your browser window.
And finally, for the developers listening, Minimax 2.1.
An improved coding tool that's really optimized for mobile and web app development. It's designed to speed up those specific pipelines.
So synthesizing all of this, what was 2025 really about?
I think it was fundamentally defined by 2 trends. First, that unprecedented financial investment into compute, epitomized by the $1.4 trillion Stargate project.
In a second.
A tangible operational shift toward agentic capabilities and the creation of hyperreal media. The technology is no longer theoretical. It's being deployed with staggering velocity and cost.
So what does this all mean? Given those astronomical compensation figures, that average of $1.5 million in stock for a key AI employee, in this intense global race for talent, how soon will the line between a top AI developer and a Wall Street investment banker just completely blur?
The competition for AGI talent isn't a technical race anymore. It's a high-stakes economic war, and that is the real question we're left with heading into 2026.
We hope this deep dive gave you the clarity and context you need. If you found it useful, please share it with others so they can stay just as informed.
See you in the